And go.
And we're live. Welcome back to Linescapes, everybody. It's great to have you here again.
Hello.
Today we have a special topic, or more or less Sonia has a special topic for you.
Yeah, today we're gonna do some watercolors. We're gonna improve our knowledge of painting clouds, and then we're gonna test this knowledge that we just learned in a painting, which includes also landscape.
How would it look?
Oh, yeah, I did a test one. So maybe I need to just...
Yeah, I'll put you if you want on camera too. Yes, you can show it right there. All right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So obviously today the topic will be watercolor. So what will everyone be needing today?
So for today, we'll be needing a few pieces of paper, preferably watercolor, because I'm gonna try to do with you a few techniques that include wet and wet technique, and this requires a bit heavier paper. So 2 pieces of paper at least. Then I have 2 glasses of water, watercolors, some masking tape or washi tape, paper towels, brushes, a pencil, and then also a plate for mixing colors.
All right. So while you get everything ready, I would like to ask you how you are, how is everyone doing, and where are you tuning in from today? It's always great to see where in the world you are with us. And it's super great to see you all again. Hello, Michelle, Anne, hello, Eleonora, Carlos, Annie, the cheese melter, Miss Olivia. Is there someone with us for the first time today? If you are, you're very welcome. And if you're watching this on replay, really glad you are trying this thing out.
Yeah. And if you're here for the first time, hello, welcome to our channel. My name is Sonia and this is Kasper.
Hello.
We're doing a lot of fun videos about drawing and creativity, also some tutorials. So if you're interested in that kind of topics, please join us, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to like our live stream.
All right. So we've got people tuning in from Denver, Belgium, South Carolina. All right. So this is already 2 from the United States and one from Europe. The second one from Europe, Amsterdam, and says it was born in Chile. Atrum.
Nice.
All right. So if you have your stuff ready and everything set up, then I will give it over to Sonia and she will lead you through today's exercise.
Well, I think we can start where we can still talk a bit. So first of all, what we're gonna do, we're gonna prepare our pages so that they are gonna be nice and neat. And for that, you're gonna need or masking tape, or you're gonna do a few outlines with a pen. So let me just
pencil, right?
With a pencil. Yeah,
right.
Sorry. I'm gonna try to position this as it should be. And I'm gonna put this down as well. Okay, so let's do some squares. We're gonna create a few testing fields where we're gonna draw our clouds inside. And of course, if you're very creative, you can do a grid of 6, but I'm gonna also do a grid of 6, but actually we're gonna start with 3, and then if I see there's any need, we're gonna do a few more. So, and if you notice, my grid is also not very precise, because what matters the most is just that we have some fields where you can start adding your color and water. And if you didn't do that with pencil, you probably used masking tape, and in that case, you would start by just laying the masking tape between here and then up and down. But I just don't want to waste some masking tape on those testing fields, because I did it so often already that, yeah.
That masking tape is valuable.
I'm slowly going to have to need to buy more of masking tape.
So masking tape has been a question. Can you just tell us a word about what it is? Because people have been asking us, what is this masking tape? What is the tape you are using to do the nice outlines of the painting fields?
Mm-hmm. So you can buy those masking tapes usually in every art store, and you can use them for different kind of things. So if you're writing your diary or a journal, then you can use it for that. And you just add some lines, and then integrate that in your everyday diary. Or you can also emphasize some titles. And one of the things that I like to use it for is just to create some lines or borders when I'm working with watercolors, especially because this will help your water to stay in place. And afterwards, you can usually pretty easily remove that tape from the paper as well.
So you call it also washi tape, right?
Yeah.
It's from like Japanese tape art?
Yeah.
Right.
And usually it depends. In art stores, maybe you can find it like it's also called masking tape, especially if you're using it for wall painting or something. Then you need bigger amounts of that kind of tape. And if you find the right size, like not too broad but just a bit more narrow, then I would suggest you buy that one because it's a bit cheaper. But you need to test it out how it behaves on the pages, because it can also just take a bit of paper with it, so it's not always so nice.
Yeah, test before.
Okay, so I would like to start because we have a few things that we will like to try out today. And last time Gaspar explained very nicely how to draw clouds with pen or pencil.
So if you haven't seen our previous video on how to draw clouds, you should definitely check it out. We also put the link in the description of the video if you're watching this later. I think even like in the first 10-15 minutes we like explain it, and it's a great start for you to draw clouds. But if you're here right now on live, then just continue.
Yeah. Okay, so and what we're gonna do, those techniques usually require a bit of speed. So what we're gonna do a wet on wet technique. We already tried it out last time, but just to have the complete version of those easy clouds, let's do it again. And we start by just adding a layer of water, and that piece of paper or your square needs to be wet, but not so soaked that the water just forms in piles. So it needs to be shiny surface. And then what we're gonna do next, we're gonna take one of your blue tones, and we're gonna start to apply this color from up to below. And we're gonna try to just make a transition. So we don't want so much color on the bottom of our square, but we want a bit more stronger pigments to be on the top of our square. Okay, so this is how our paper should look like. If you would watch it from the side, Maybe I can also show you. It should have, you see, it should have like a nice sheen or shine to it. Okay, so while this paint is still wet, you're gonna take a paper towel and you're gonna squeeze it a bit, and we're gonna lift the paint or the pigment out of the square. And with that, we're gonna just create some clouds.
Oh wow, this immediately looks amazing.
Yeah, I know. It can be it's very fast and very efficient, and it also looks amazing. And especially if you're a beginner, I would strongly recommend this kind of technique because it doesn't require so much skill. You just need to observe the form of the clouds, and then you can just start drawing. And that's the nice thing. Okay, the next step is that usually, of course, you can leave it like this, or if you want to do, you can do one extra step where you take a bit of darker tone of your blue and then dilute it with water quite a bit. And then try to add some shadow.
Oh wow.
Below on the bottom.
Because they're rarely just white spots, right? I mean, they usually have like a volume and they have light and the dark side.
Yeah. It's also because it depends on the angle from where the light is coming.
All right, yeah.
And for that, right now, I'm just trying to imitate a bit of the form of the cloud, you know, this fluffy part. And last time there was also a question. Well, this is just one form of a cloud. How do we create other types of clouds? And we're gonna try to use different techniques in next steps, where we can add that as well.
Nice.
Okay, so and then when the paper is still wet, you can still go inside and add a bit more black or dark blue.
Oh, they're getting really stormy.
Yeah, and a bit more and a bit more, and this is how you can really create those very heavy, stormy clouds.
All right.
Okay, so this is the first version. You can also do a monochromatic cloud in the sense that, for example, I used a bit black to create those heavy, shady clouds. But you can also use just one color. You can also work with just one color, and there use a bit more pigment and a bit less pigment, and with more pigment that you add on the bottom of the cloud, you're gonna create this three-dimensionality.
So in between, while Sonia is applying water on the second square, I will blend in a heart. And thank you a lot, Isidore, for your donation. So what just happened, Isidore just sent us a super chat donation, and thanks a lot. We really appreciate it. This, you know, everything goes towards supporting our channel and what we do, basically. So we really appreciate that. So if you want to support us, this is the way you can do it. You can send us a super chat, it's down in the chat. Or if you don't have the possibility, we'll be really grateful if you shared and liked this video if you're getting any value of it.
Thank you, Isidore. And as Kasper said, yeah, you can support us in many different kinds of ways. And
just send us a heart, some love. We really appreciate all the feedback we get from you. It's really so beautiful to read all the comments. Thank you.
Okay, so now we have the second field prepared, second square. And this is a bit different. So in this attempt, we can, this area is wet, and especially if you're using watercolor paper, when you start applying the pigment, you're gonna notice it just starts spreading on its own. And the better watercolor paper you're using, the better the results are going to be.
So this is a different technique of drawing clouds now?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are all different different techniques how you can draw clouds. And this is just my improvisation right now. I'm not following any tutorial or well, of course I watched a few tutorials, but I'm not using any reference photos. I'm just
manifesting the clouds.
Yeah, I'm just trying to improvise and think about how these clouds could look like, and you can also do your own version where you just start adding some pigment.
Recently, since we've been doing these cloud tutorials, we really started to look at clouds more closely when we were outside. And we're like, oh, look at how the clouds are like, lit from this side, and actually they have a shadow from this side, and actually there's like a thin white line on the bottom side, and it's become totally exciting to watch it, to watch clouds.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so now you notice everything is pretty much even. And now if we want, we can also add even more pigment, and through that we're gonna create a bit more depth.
Can I ask you one thing?
Mm-hmm.
Could we shift a bit your paper so people can see a bit better what you're doing? All right, yeah, this is maybe I have to,
like this.
I have to do it for you. So you can see this. Yes, like that. Is this okay?
Yeah.
All right. Sonia, you have gotten an amazing compliment. First of all, First Architecture School, thanks a lot for joining in. We know your stuff also. You're doing also great tutorials. Really glad to have you here. And then you've been called one of the best things, I would say, recently.
Yeah.
Marcus says, introducing Barbara Ross. So Sonia is like the female manifestation of Bob Ross, the reincarnation.
Oh, wow. Well, if you're really relaxed while painting with me and having fun, that's the best compliment. So thank you very much. Okay, so this is the second attempt.
All right.
And then we have the third one. And I think this one is also very promising, but it's usually a bit of underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's very spontaneous, because you don't have so much control over it. And this is where I'm gonna show you what I mean by that. So first of all, we're gonna just do some clouds lines. You can also go without those lines, but the thing is that if you're leaving these cloud lines away, you're not gonna see where you put your water on, and that's why you're gonna just miss the areas that you should just leave empty or water free.
So the lines should probably be very light, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So use light lines, and afterward do this. The rest of the surface should be wet. So I'm using the wrong cup of water, so that's why you can see blue, but it actually should be transparent.
Usually when you have 2 cups of water, first of all think about using the right one, and definitely think about not drinking your cup of water, which is something that can happen, and it has happened to me as well.
Yeah, it happened to me as well, but a while ago, not like, I think in primary school or so.
Oh, but you're still here.
Yeah.
With us.
Yeah.
All right, so
healthy.
That cup of watercolor turned her into Barbara Ross. So
yeah. Okay, so if you look from the side, you should see that your paper should have like a nice sheen to it. It should look like very, very nicely wet and glossy.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, just go inside with one blue color and just let the magic happen.
Wow, look at that. So you're just basically touching the watered area.
Yeah, I'm just touching the watered area. And of course, I'm also, just trying to spread the paint a bit. We don't want it to be totally muddy and organic. It should be like Some areas are a bit darker and some are a bit lighter. And in this kind of clouds, you're going to notice that you get this curly flower effect. When this paper usually dries, you can see like these spots that it looks like flowers or something. So you can use that intentionally, or if you just don't know why every time this thing happens, it's because you use too much water usually.
So cauliflower comes when you water it too much.
Yeah.
So don't water your cauliflowers, people.
Don't color your paper don't water your paper too much.
And don't drink your watercolor water unless you want to be Barbara Ross.
Yeah. Okay, so this is my third version.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a question that I may sneak in. Atrum asks, when you go watercolor outside, do you bring a cup or just use the water from the river? So do you go down to the river and get some water, or do you run around with a cup?
Well, it depends.
Depends how nice the river is.
And if you're beside the river, right? But I bring it with me, always. Usually I use drinking water. Sometimes I also use tea, but not from the same cup. You know? I mean, I'm not trying to wash my watercolor brushes in my cup of tea.
So usually most of the watercolor boxes have like an area where you can pour some water in it and mix it, so you don't need a cup of water basically with you. There is also an interesting thing called the water brush. I will show you in the end what a water brush is. Yeah.
This is a water brush. So you put water here inside, and then you just squeeze it, and the water is gonna come through this brush tip.
Yeah, so it's basically like a brush that already is filled with water, and you don't have to dip it into water.
So it looks like this.
Yeah.
Once again.
Water brushes are practical.
Yeah, but sometimes they can also leak, so watch out your sketchbook and your electronic devices.
Yeah, which happened to us this past weekend. Okay,
so these are all the tricks that we're gonna use today. I can maybe very fast, how late is it? Okay, we still have a few minutes, so let's do another one.
All right.
Or another two.
So can I ask you one thing?
Yeah.
Can I move your watercolor to the side so people see which ones are you using?
Yes.
All right.
Sure. Can you just move it as you think is the best?
If it's fine for you here. Because you have a nice watercolor palette and it's a new one and maybe potentially interesting for someone.
But I would still not recommend it because I'm testing it out for the first time today.
Yeah, so recommendation not yet approved by Linescapes.
Yeah.
Being tested.
Okay, so let's do another colored surface, another wet surface. Today we're gonna do a lot of wet surfaces. And let's try to do the blue color is again. So let's find the pigment again, and as before we're gonna start above with more pigment and then we're gonna progress to the bottom and hopefully reduce a bit of this pigment. So this our surface should look like this. Okay, you can also add a second wash of color if you notice that your transitions are not nice, and you really need to work with brush here. You really need to pay attention to the color and really spread it out.
All right.
Okay, if you see the transitions are not nice, you can still go inside and then just remove some color with a clean brush. And what we're gonna do now is basically that. Sometimes you see just like it's not, it's a cloud, but it looks like just like a stripe or something.
Like pancake.
A stripe.
Okay.
And you can create those kind of clouds as well by wetting your brush a bit. So I'm trying to get it as dry as possible. Sorry, not wetting it, but drying it as much as possible. And then just try to remove this color from the paper.
So those really like stretched out, what do you call it? So every time you strike, you dry the brush in your.
So if I show you the process,
yeah,
I'm doing it like this.
All right. So those are really high up, right? Those clouds that are like stretched out.
Yeah, and usually the sky is always a combination of many different kinds of clouds. Otherwise, it looks like a fairy tale, right? Like something that's not true, and we want it like to be as realistic as possible. You can, of course, also take this paper towel and just emphasize it even more. But this is basically it. So I wanted to show you those kind of techniques. And now you can just let it dry. You have the skills of how to draw clouds. Congratulations.
Congratulations. You are officially approved cloud painter.
Yeah, and now we can start.
All right. So in between, I will be, curating here the comments today. Do ask us comments here in the comment section. And then we'll do our best to answer them. If you're watching this on replay, leave us a comment. Leave us some feedback. How you liking the video, how you like the topics, and most of all, what would you like to see more from us in the future? And if you're getting any value from it right now, do like this video because it helps it get out to more people. It helps it make it visible to more people on YouTube. So we'd really appreciate if you liked it.
So in between, you can also start preparing your other page or piece of paper. And I'm gonna use for this one the washi tape or the masking tape because so I already started what I did before. And I'm gonna just I'm using A4 size or paper format, and then you can just when it's prepared, then we're gonna start with some outlines with pencils. Awesome.
So we got a question from Marcos. Is digitalizing your artwork creating some sort of cloud software? So I'm not sure if I understand this right, Marcos. Maybe you can correct me, but if we are developing some sort of cloud software, like a Photoshop plugin, like generate clouds, not yet, but we probably should, right? To generate, it's like Command GC, like Command Generate Clouds, and then you just press a number and it goes from 1 to 10 and it makes different clouds. And the number 9, the most awesome ones are like Barbara Ross level. And your artwork gets sent to Sonia in the email. She paints in it, makes some clouds, sends it back into Photoshop on your desktop, and it shows up. It takes a bit of time, but it's worth it.
Okay, so my piece of paper is prepared.
All right.
Okay, so I think this is the part where we try to combine our knowledge that we just gained with some cloud painting technique. And now the question is, how can we use this skill to draw or include those clouds into our landscapes? And of course, when we're traveling, we usually have the combination of both. We have like this beautiful landscape, and then we have some nice fluffy clouds or something similar. Or you just made a photo and you said, oh, I'm gonna draw that at home. And this is where we're gonna try it out. And this is where we're gonna try to improve our skill and put it to the test.
All right, so should I blend in the photo?
Yes.
So everyone, if you joined later, if you haven't been drawing with us now, you can start. So if you don't have watercolor, just get a pen and draw with us. it's always fun to just, you know, squiggle a bit. All right, so this is the photo of the landscape we'll be painting today. So it's a nice Chinese karst, right? Beautiful, beautiful landscape. I really, really like it.
Yeah, I also thought that it's also not too intense in a sense of colors, and I think we can do this in 20 minutes or so. So before that, aquarelle technique or watercolor technique, it demands a bit more preparation in sense of you need to think about the steps you're gonna follow. So when you see those clouds that we draw and then compare it to the photo that we're gonna use as a reference, you can see that we have combination of two types of clouds. First one is this one that we did, and then the second one, so above on the left upper corner you have like this very big cotton clouds, and for that we can use this paper technique, and then we're gonna try to remove some paint with this kind of technique, and this is in the middle of the page we have like this foggy cloud that doesn't look like anything, and then we have when we're going, so when you see the middle of the page we have the fluffy clouds again, so that's where we're gonna use this technique again. And before that we're gonna need to paint the whole page with some paint, and we're gonna use wet on wet technique. But before that, so this is how the process is gonna look like, but before we start applying some color, it would be very smart to just do some outlines.
Outlines are smart.
Yeah, do some outlines with pencil. And this is what I'm gonna do right now. So I'm gonna just start by, okay, so maybe I need to move my piece of paper even more.
So basically you'll be starting with doing the horizon and then moving into the sky and then into the landscape, right?
The thing is that it's not so...
Maybe I can help you a bit. I'll get this working right away, I think. So I think we have to give you space like this. Oh, no, it is a challenge. I thought I were gonna, I will come in and solve the problem, but obviously not.
It's not so easy, huh?
There you go.
There you go. Okay, and I think this is also my position. I'm not allowed to...
You're not allowed to move. Don't breathe.
But by the way, today we have many challenges. I'm also using these watercolors for the first time because I thought, wow, look, this is really travel size package, and yeah, I must say they are pretty intense. The colors are pretty intense. So I think I'm gonna have also a lot of trial and fail moments with those. But hey, let's try it out together.
If it's one lesson in general for any creative thing you do, it's like, learn to enjoy failing, because you will fail so many times. You will just, basically, the whole creative journey is going to be composed of like failing, and then sometimes it's not going to be so bad, but you're still going to think it's bad, but other people will like it. So learn to love the process.
Yeah, but it's fine. I mean, not every sketch is going to be perfect, right?
No.
Maybe there will be time where we can share a thought or two or of our adventures, what we've been through, and our struggles someday. But yeah, okay, let's start, and then maybe we can talk in between.
Yeah, do start, and I will blend in a thank you heart for Michelle, who also donated. So thanks a lot, Michelle.
Thank you
for contributing to this channel in this way. Really, really appreciate it.
Okay, so I, in a sense, started by drawing the horizon line. And now I'm just gonna, it's not necessary that it's perfect. Let's put it this way. But I'm not saying it because I'm afraid to fail, but I just want to, say that just keep on drawing. Don't give up. It's the beginning. Even if your those karst mountains are not perfect, who cares? I mean, you're the one seeing it, and
Nobody will know.
nobody will know.
Nobody will notice.
Yeah.
Especially when you're drawing, let's say, landscapes or something like that, that has, a bit of margin for error. Don't stress yourself if you're not depicting it 100% right. When you're drawing a face and you get it a bit wrong and the eyes are funny, people will see. But in a landscape, if the mountain is a bit bigger than it actually is, or, if there's a couple of extra trees or something, totally fine, I would say.
Yeah. So also here, what I'm trying to differentiate, what we did before, for example, in one of our watercolor exercises, we did less is more with watercolors. And what I'm trying to achieve here is some sort of balance or just outline of the surfaces that I see. So I have here some mountains, and then I added some fields where the forest is going to be. Then we have some area for grass, and then we have some sand. Then the river surface is pretty big, and we're gonna leave that just empty. Maybe we can add some placeholder holders for the ships, but we're gonna add the details later on. So we're gonna start with big elements, and then we're gonna draw in the smaller ones.
All right. So this is always how one should start, basically, starting with like the big elements and then going into detail?
Yeah. Because if you're gonna stress too much about the details, then you're gonna just lose the motivation and the patience, because you won't have any structure. And you want, as with every project that you're doing or working on, you always want to have like a clear plan, a clear vision. Without that, you pretty fast are lost. You're lost pretty fast.
Yeah, well, this thing with clear vision, it's an interesting point because, for example, last Saturday, we did some doodling where I was trying to do the opposite of what I'm used to, like having a clear vision. I was always, used to clear vision creates, good result. And if you're this kind of person, it's also a good exercise to sometimes let go. But I would say not with watercolor. With watercolor, you have to have a plan, like Sonia said, and you have to stick to it, of the structure. What will I draw first and second? It takes a bit more planning up front, but the results will be much more amazing.
Yeah, and I think the planning is necessary because you're working with water, and water surfaces dry, and when they are dried, then the pigment behaves differently. And what we love about watercolors is that special effect, that interesting effect that color gives when it spreads on the water.
Actually, we just like, the spreading of water. I think that's what I like watercolors, because you apply some water, you put a drop of pigment and it spreads, and this moment is just beautiful.
Yeah, I like it as well. So I also draw in some placeholders for the ships. I'm gonna draw 3 ships.
So how is everyone doing? Those of you who are painting along, are you all, are you keeping up? Are you already at drawing of the landscape, or are you still at the clouds that we did beforehand? Let us know. This video will stay online, so you can always rewatch it and then finish it. And we'd really, really appreciate to see what you've done in the end. This is something that we're really waiting, really excited after every video, I would say. It's like, did someone, already post their work? And you can post it in the Facebook group, Linescapers, or on Instagram and tag us with linescapes.drawing, and then we see it and really enjoy what everyone is doing.
Okay, so I think we came to the part where I don't need my pencil anymore. And
throw it away.
Gasper, can you give me a few more paper towels? Because these pigments are so strong.
People, we've got some value here. This is worth. Whew.
Yeah. So if you're a true sketcher and painter, then you have a lot of paper towels ready.
Rows of these, you know.
Okay, so right now we have to work fast. We're gonna prepare now for the phase where we're gonna work pretty fast, and that's because we want to apply some color and create some clouds. I'm promising you, when you're gonna create some clouds, you're gonna be very motivated to continue and to finish this painting.
And if you're not, if it's too much for you right now and just want to simplify it, like Anne said, yeah, just maybe take a section of the drawing, or, don't stress if you're going to finish everything, or maybe you'll just finish the sky today. So don't worry, you can always, our sessions are not supposed to be pressure, they're supposed to be relaxation.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, of course. No, that's true. We want it to be as fun as possible for you.
Yeah.
But, I also want for you to create some amazing results so that you can brag about to your friends when you're gonna go outside, when the weather is great.
What did you do in the quarantine?
Yeah, and then you're gonna show your sketchbook and you're gonna say,
yeah,
I know.
I started watercolor. I picked up watercolor here and there.
I know, I'm amazing. That's what I want for you. Okay, so we're gonna wet this whole piece of paper with water. As before, don't add too much water. In a sense, we don't want you to drink from the paper down or something. We want you to still use your cups. What we want is just that this piece of paper has a nice sheen to it.
Shine
To it. And when it's shiny all over the surface, then it's the right time to start applying the color.
All right.
Okay, so I think my piece of paper is ready. So I'm just gonna start adding the color.
Wow, this is such a beautiful moment always.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm always so amazed. And if you want the clouds to be also seen here in the middle of the page, then don't forget to apply a bit more blue tone.
So you're also going a bit over the line of the mountains that you created?
Yeah, always.
Why is that?
Because we're going to do the outline of the clouds later on. But in the first step, we just want to color in the piece of paper where to define the skyline. And then after that, we're gonna add more of. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I'm gonna try to mix some sort of. This is still so strong. Okay, if you're done with this part, you can also start coloring from bottom up.
Oh.
So in this part, you also see we have the water, and this water surface is a bit more darker. And the tones are all very similar. Basically, I created this tone from blue and a bit of green and black.
But you use the same blue as you did for the sky.
Exactly. That's the point. We're always using the same tones by mixing colors because the sky influences the color of the landscape.
Wow. This is good, well put. Right, of course. It's the light.
Yeah. Okay, so my piece of paper, I think I need to wet it a bit more because it's soaking water pretty fast. Because it's the part where we're gonna just stop applying color and we're gonna do some destroying of the paper towel.
Destroy the paper towel.
And we're gonna start adding some clouds.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm just lifting the paint. And then I'm gonna also, I have some fluffy clouds below.
Wow. This looks amazing, Sonia. Like, I don't know where to watch, on the screen or what you're doing.
Yeah, it's almost easier to watch on the screen because you can see it from the right angle, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
I hope everyone... is there also someone who is just not drawing? I just saw Atrum before. You said you don't have watercolor paper. The store was out. Are there others who are just watching, basically, this painting process? I'd be interested to know how many are just here, to watch.
Okay, so I added the fluffy clouds, and right now we want to add those foggy clouds. And for this, you know what to do. So you're gonna dry your brush a bit. You can try it with different brushes, and you're gonna just, I noticed that here I have really a spot where there's almost white.
What?
So I'm gonna start doing this.
This looks amazing.
And then we have some more of these fields here. Amazing, right?
When did you learn that?
Well, I think today.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay, so I have here a piece of paper. Okay, let me see how it looks like.
That's good.
So if you're using a very thin paper, it can happen that it's just gonna destroy the surface of the paper, and you can see it also here because it's like, it has like this kind of funny fuzzy
this caterpillars, the paper, how do you call them, like this, the paper,
okay. Caterpillars,
like the paper, small paper worms, that's come off the paper surface.
Okay, so and then at the end, just because I can and because I want to use my paper towel a bit more, I added a few of those.
Beautiful. Really,
So,
really nice.
This is my sky.
This is insane. So we have Anne is painting, but her cat is just watching. The cheese melter usually just watches the live streams and creates later. Laurent, Laurent, this is in a language I do not understand. So if there is someone who can translate Laurent's comment,
Vostor sit. It almost sounds like Veluria. No, what's the language?
the Dothraki.
Yeah,
Dothraki from Game of
right?
Thrones. Yeah, Vostor sit. Something. Khal Drogo Vostor sit. Anyways, can anyone translate the Dothraki for us? And Carlos also just watching. How does it feel to be a cloud maker? Was that in Dothraki?
Ah.
It sounds also poetic, like how does it feel to be a cloud maker?
Well, sometimes I just stare at the clouds and talk to them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they bring me stories from other lands. Very deep, very deep.
Very deep.
Okay, so this is the part where you can relax for a bit. You did the first part and you did an amazing job. You created your clouds. Ooh! Ah! Okay, so from here on, I would suggest we have 10 more minutes to go. And for today's lesson, it's important just to be brave, and we're gonna try to be as monochromatic as possible. So we're gonna use, if you see the landscape or the mountains in the background, they're almost the same tone of blue or same shade of blue than the sky. So we're gonna use the same blue and we're gonna mix it maybe with a bit of green, just a touch of green, or we're gonna just add some gray tone or black tone to it so that it's gonna get a bit of differentiation from the sky. And we're gonna start with, so we're gonna try to work in layers, and the darker layers are always done last. So if you see, the darkest layer is this part that's still empty, the forest part. That's the darkest part, and the boat. So those parts are coming last. We're gonna draw those last. what we can do now, we can do the mountains in the background, and we're also gonna start with the lightest one, and we're gonna slowly transition and progress to this one in front, which is the darkest one. And then we're gonna focus on this part, the bottom part, and then at the end we're gonna just fill in the forest.
All right. May I chime in with some physics fun facts?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
So what Sonia just explained, that the furthermost layer is basically the same tone as the sky, just a bit darker. This is because when you're watching actually a landscape or a view, the more further elements are, the bluer they are. Because the particles in the air stop the red light and only let through the blue light. So, which has I think longer waves. So this is because that's why the further away the elements are, the lighter they are and bluer they are. So this is a great way to create depth. Now, you might have heard us say when you're sketching, make the horizon, make the furthermost point the darkest. Yeah? This is different when we're doing watercolors. When we're doing watercolor, we're trying to do it realistically, which means that we're doing the furthermost layers the lightest, and then the ones closest to us darkest. Yeah, so this is basically what we're gonna do. So the layers up in the back are more blue because just blue light is getting to us and bouncing off them and getting to us. And the layers up front have more yellow if you see the coast of this river, the banks of this river. Okay. Well, we've got another donation here from Anne Marshall. Thanks a lot, Anne. I will send you a thank you heart.
Thank you, Anne.
And then we have a couple of people joining in. I just have to say, it's great to see David. David is here with us, David Regine. So David, thanks a lot. So glad to see you. A shout out to David. He has an amazing Instagram page. He's an author. He recently published a book on architectural sketching. So check out Sketch Like an Architect on Instagram. And he also has a YouTube channel. David, put it in the comments so people can check it out. Then people are, we also have Louis today with us. Nice to see you, Louis. And saying you are very powerful with your cloud magic.
Ooh,
Marcus also said,
thank you.
Profession executed perfectly always looks like an easy task. And have we already started selling watercolor postcards? We haven't started selling watercolor postcards, Marcus, but we have something else, which are our cardscapes. It's way better than watercolor postcards. It's basically postcards with drawing tips on them, right? I will show them in the end after Sonia is finished with the work. Yeah.
Okay, so first I colored in the whole row of these just background mountains, and now what I'm doing is just trying to add the mountains that are just in front of it. So I have one. I think I draw one too much, but okay, I'm gonna improvise. I think I need to draw in this one as well. This one is a bit darker. And you know how it goes, right? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. So first we always do the background mountains, and then we slowly transition to the ones that are in front of us. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one. And now I'm gonna, you need to watch out that the layers that you're creating, that they dry a bit. Otherwise, when you're gonna start adding the color here beside this one, and if this one is still wet, the color from this part is just gonna bleed into the existing one. So you can also try it out, like intentionally, if you want.
If you dare.
If you dare. Yeah.
So basically, a lot of working with watercolor is timing, right? Like sometimes you said you have to be really fast because you don't want the water to dry. Other times you have to wait for a layer to dry so it doesn't bleed into neighboring areas.
Yeah. That's why it's really, so maybe I can try it out so that you see what I mean by bleeding, because it's also an education. So this is what means if color starts to bleed into another surface.
Oh, it hurts. You know, the thing when someone does like a blue sky and then starts with red roofs underneath, and then the red bleeds into the blue sky. Yeah. Every time that happens, an angel dies.
Oh no, why? That's pretty hard. Okay, so I then have also these mountains in the background.
Well, meanwhile, Thomas, so glad to have you here and that you made it to a live stream. This is great to see you around. And Thomas is saying he's really enjoying this community and really thinking about making a Linescapers website dedicated for this community to be able to submit, follow, and get feedback. Thomas, really, if you would be prepared to support us in that way, yeah, do write us. You can DM us or write us an email. We'd be gladly to work. Really happy to work with you. This sounds amazing.
Okay. I agree with Kasper. We also enjoy our community a lot.
Yeah, it is. We have been, to be really honest, we have been working and putting on a lot of content, but we never, before we started these live streams, we never had this direct feedback from all of you. So we knew you over some comments and everything, but now we feel much closer to you. And I'm interested. Do you also feel it? Like that it's different when we're doing live streams than when we do just normal videos, because we think we'll continue doing these live streams even when the quarantine is over, right?
Yeah, for sure, because it's such a great value that we're adding. I mean, but not that we're adding, but what I mean by that is my greatest value is to have this community that I can, that I can talk to and just exchange my ideas and thoughts about drawing, and that's just the best thing.
This is amazing, beautiful, and we really have a lot of great people. Like also Thomas said, yeah, Thomas says the live streams and the feedback Friday, the submissions make it really interactive. This is amazing, Thomas. And Atrum says, guys, besides translating the cardscapes, I can also help with subtitles for these videos. Wow, Atrum, this is amazing. Yeah, would be amazing, and would love to have the support. Thanks so much. And people are saying, yeah, they can feel it. Please continue them. Big love, and yeah, please continue. Definitely. Thanks, everyone. This is great to see. We're getting so much love right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can feel it. It's so amazing.
Wow.
Okay, so I arrived to my last mountain, which looks pretty dark.
The last mountain.
Yours should be a bit lighter. The thing is that I'm using today those watercolors for the first time, and they are super pigmented. It's not an excuse. That's the fact. Buy it if you want, and you're gonna see.
Yeah, wait until we approve them. Like, wait a couple of weeks, then it either gets or doesn't get the Linescapes approved mark.
Yeah, if we start doing this,
Linescapes approved?
Yeah, like approval marks.
Yeah, we could.
But should we?
Yeah, we shouldn't do everything we can, Maybe it's not a good idea.
Okay. And don't worry, as we said before, even if your sketch or your painting doesn't look amazing, hey, it's gonna look even better next time.
Yeah,
It's the process. I think it's more about think what you're doing, think what you're drawing. Yeah. Of course, there are times when you need to relax and you're doing it just for relaxation. But of course, if you want to, I'm also still trying to be very intuitive while doing this. So I'm trying to enjoy the process and let the right side of the brain take over as much as possible. But still, if you want to for example, use a special effect like this kind of clouds and stuff like that, you need to consider that before you start adding different kinds of elements.
About on point of relaxing, letting go, and not stressing yourself. We must admit, we tell you, don't worry and relax, but we know that it's hard. Just last time, we went out sketching, and when something doesn't work out, also for us, especially when we're like filming it and we want to release it later, it's super frustrating. It's like really, we know how you feel sometimes because we feel it as well. And it's interesting, this feeling does not go away. Like you are frustrated if something doesn't, work according to plan. So it is our challenge as well. We're still like struggling with it a lot. We're maybe behind the scenes. It's behind the scenes and you don't see it, but the struggle is there. So it's something we're learning. And also you shouldn't stress yourself if you are stressing yourself over your drawings.
Yeah.
It's kind of normal.
Yeah, but I know it's hard. I had this moment this weekend, that moment this weekend, and it was, I was so angry at myself because I had such great expectations. I also wanted to share my progress and, of course, do another amazing sketch for you, to show you how fast can you just progress with your skills if you're just dedicated. And I was also considering maybe writing a motivational quote or something, and then my sketch was so bad. It was a painting. I did watercolors. It was super sunny and windy, and I was also filming everything. At the end, I was so frustrated and angry at the same time at myself. It was not work. It was not a nice thing. I was just, I was not nice to myself.
Yeah.
And you were there, so.
Yeah, I know. And I know because I have the feeling too. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge where you're putting something out. Like you really feel it's like it's like your baby. It's your creation. And when it doesn't turn out well, you blame yourself. So I would say it's a normal artist struggle.
Yeah. And you notice it when you're having like this negative dialogue with yourself. When you're just starting to go, come on, Sonia, what's that? You know you can do better. What's that about? That's the worst sketch you ever did you did in the last month or two or something. And this is really the moment where you just need to stop and say, okay, now be quiet. Don't talk to yourself like this anymore, because
don't judge yourself.
It does not make the situation better. And because of that, you're also not going to progress.
And you know what? You can always just throw away the sketch.
Yeah.
This is what I do. Like what helped me a lot. If I'm feeling it's not going well, I just ditched it. I just started a new one.
Really?
Yeah. It helped me a bit. I even sometimes really, threw it away, like physically, with all those bad emotions and thoughts. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna add now a bit of those dark areas on water. We'll see how it turns out.
So this is the reflection of the big bad mountain?
In a way. I'm not sure if it is. It's a reflection of this mountain. And this is where if you're using that kind of brush, I think that's the best thing to use, because it will just help you a lot when doing these wavy lines and trying to define the water.
Okay. I'll throw a view into how do you call it? I'll throw an eye on the comments, or I will throw I'll look into the comments.
Comment on the eye.
Yeah, because in German you say like I will throw a view on something if you're just gonna glance at it or something. I don't know, with all the 3 languages in my head, it's getting really confusing.
Sometimes it is, yeah.
But yeah, so someone says, Atrum says that we are so genuine and good sharing. It makes these moments super relaxing. And then we have someone with an Arabic spelled name, which I cannot read, but looks beautiful, definitely. Could you help me? I'm new in this track. So yeah, definitely. Anyone who has any questions, if you're new to the channel, always feel free to contact us, ask us questions in the comments or on Instagram. And a great way to start, if you're new to drawing and art in general, is our playlist Start Here or Start Drawing Now.
Yeah.
It's like it's called Basics of Drawing, our playlist. I'll try to look it up and I will post it here because I think it's one of the best series we've done. It's really good. Anyway, so I'll try to find it for you. And then some art supply stores should sponsor us. I'm definitely up for that, Atrum. And yeah, Anne is blaming the paper, for example, and she's blaming the watercolors for all the wrong, that happens in the image. That's a good way.
Wow,
just blame the paper. Maybe not blame the watercolors because you have to use them again and again, and they might remember.
Yeah.
But the paper is just like you use it once and then you just turn the page in your life.
Yeah.
Thomas says, imagine that feeling when you have a child wanting to paint with you on your painting. Sometimes you have to surrender to the discovery of the process. Exactly. Thomas, I'm guessing you have a child that wants to paint with you. I guess this is a special moment. I'm glad and some people said you're painting with your children around. This is great. But Atrum says, I forced my husband to watch these videos with me, and when you said that about don't judge yourself, he gave me the deepest look.
Awesome.
Another technique is also to blame the water, like Radka says. And if you're watching this on replay, you can tell us what you blame in the comments. Maybe we find a good formula of something we can all blame.
Okay, so I already added the forest, and now I'm just adding some dark brown spots that are going to spread like poison on my page.
Ooh.
And add some dark points. Okay. What else? Well, I mean, this is a nice, how do you say? I think this could be like a nice stop where you can say, okay, I would like to make a break, or just let it dry, or just, I think this is the step where you can let it go a bit. From here on, what I will do next, I will try to add a few textures for this bay or this green area here, and I'm gonna add the boats so that we have like everything together, and then at the end I'm gonna add some textures for the water, for the waves, and that will be it. Because I learned from the process that if you're not so comfortable yet, then it's better to leave it be for a bit, because watercolors you can still do more if you want later on.
Very good. So maybe while you do the last of the details, should I tell what is happening in the following days?
Yeah.
When are the live streams?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll quickly just blend away from Sonia's painting and then blend back so you can see what is happening. So the coming Friday, there is no Feedback Friday. Sorry to say, because it's 1st of May, and we said let's take a day off. But you can definitely still submit your work. We'd love to on our Facebook, on Instagram DM, and just write for Friday, or just post it in our Facebook group, and then we'll include it in the next Friday's Feedback Friday session. It's a great, one of the best video series I think that we're doing. It's also really fun. So on the coming Saturday, we will give you the option to vote for the topic in the Facebook group Linescapers. So maybe later today or tomorrow we'll put up the voting, so you can vote and decide what is going to be the topic for the Saturday's live stream. And on Monday, Monday we have something special. You know, we said that creative inspiration comes from different directions. So, you know, people have been asking, where do you draw it from? And we try to draw it from different directions, and we just realized we never have done it from poetry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, on Monday we said, you know, let's try to draw poetry. So we're asking you to send us one of your favorite poems. You know, like something short, like a haiku, not like an epic of Gilgamesh or, you know, something really long. But you know, just something short, nice, and it has to be in English so we can understand, or everyone else can understand. So try to find a translation if it's not originally. But yeah, we try to pick out some poems, and we'll try to draw them together in a nice creative exercise. All right, and now I'm, you know, releasing you back to Sonia's work.
Yeah, and I think this is also a part where I'm gonna just slowly finish.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, maybe I'm gonna try to color the boats a bit more.
Yeah, the reflection in the water will give them much more like anchor as well, right?
Oh, the reflection, right?
Yeah.
I can add this.
Someone is asking, Atrum is asking, how do you add textures in watercolor?
Well, I'm trying to do them right now. So first of all, it depends what kind of techniques you're using. Since this part, everything is dry, I'm just trying to imitate the water surface by just using a very nice and fine brush. And maybe I can also show before we say goodbye how I would apply some texture for the water. So you can see this is like a bird's eye perspective, which means that we're looking everything from above. So these waves, they are very small, and that's why you also need to just consider to do those strokes, like they need to stay small. You should not just do it like with a fat big brush, but just use something smaller, something more finer. One possibility is also just to add some white paint at the end when everything is dry.
Oh yeah.
I will probably do that as well.
White does some nice highlights, right?
Yeah.
For water.
And this is it. I think I would somehow leave it like this.
Nice work, Barbara Ross.
Thank you.
Okay, so while Sona is doing the finishing strokes, I'm definitely sure she will post the finished thing into the Facebook group. We'll also share it as, in the other places, and would be really super happy if you also posted it into the Facebook group. Here it is. Bam. It's called Linescapers. And if you're not there already, be sure to join, and you will also be able to vote for Saturday's topic.
Yeah.
I really liked today's live stream. I love what you did, and I really love all the community feedback we got. So really, thanks a lot to everyone.
Yeah, and I also hope that you got some value out of it. I think we're gonna make a small break from watercolor so that you can, learn something else as well. Or maybe at least we're gonna do a break from clouds. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, so we're really happy to have you in general, our community. Thanks for all the suggestions and all the support you're showing us. So be sure to write us if you want to support us in any way. And right now, we'd love if you also gave the video a thumbs up, which will help it, get spread out to more people.
Yeah. So, are we?
I think we're done.
Okay. So, Then keep on drawing, my dears.
And stay creative.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.